Hello, and welcome to the Good News. I'm Doc,
And I'm TJ.
and we are so delighted that you are tuned in to the Good News YT. You can find the Good News YT on Twitter, on Google+, Facebook, at the Good News YT. So join in, tell a friend about the Good News YT.
And so I was really surprised because you actually found this show for us
I did.
on National Geographic, Nat Geo.
And and I have to say that I would like to be able to take credit, say I found it all on my own, but I was just scrolling through, getting ready to post some stuff on Facebook, and one of my Facebook friends had this post on there, and the show had just come on, and I saw it, and it caught my attention. I said, well, let me see what this is about, and I put the TV on it, and I'm so glad I did.
Me too. It was really an awesome show. The show that we're talking about is called Church Rescue. And the premise behind the show is there's these three gentlemen that have a church consulting business where they come in and kind of look at what the congregation and the church needs are, and then they give some suggestions and help them get to the goal that they're trying to achieve.
And when I saw that, I had no idea what to really expect from it. When I saw Church Rescues, I had no idea. I thought I wanted to believe what I was getting ready to watch, but I wasn't really sure. But as I watched it and I saw the premise behind it, I said, somebody has stolen my idea. Because you remember a couple years ago when they used to have extreme home makeovers? I used to always wonder, it would be nice if they had an extreme church makeover. And that's exactly what this made me think about. They actually go in and make over the church.
What seemed so purposeful for me was that not only did they make over the physical building, they did some work with the people of the church and with the pastor of the church. And that was just really refreshing, not only to see someone offer that type of assistance, but to see someone receive it.
And I think if you know anything about churches are not as easily willing to change, and especially when the outsider recommends it.
Yeah. And then again, sometimes that makes it easier.
Yeah.
We talk about all the time how you can preach a series for 6-7 weeks.
That's true.
And then you let a guest preacher or revivalist come in and say the exact same message that you've been saying in the congregation. Oh, he preached.
Yeah.
We got to do exactly what it was he said we needed to do. But it was good to see that they did receive it. Especially the pastor that was willing to try something new.
Yeah. And I thought it was just so funny seeing the dynamics of the show and what they did with the pastor, especially knowing what I incurred this week at church during our worship service. I had a unique week for as my sermon delivery, and to see how they recommended certain changes for him and the struggle that he had for his changing his style of preaching and changing his whole order of worship to go from one service to two service to fit the need of the congregation and the need for himself, really, for the most part. And as one who's had my opportunity to pastor a church that was in need of extreme makeover, I'm gonna have to talk about the opportunity I had to pastor a church in a small, rural Eastern Georgia town. And when I tell you my first look at that church was something that'll make someone say things that they hadn't said in a long time, but to just see the work that was needed and the work that of the pastor who was there before me, knowing that they put some hard work and effort in it, and knowing that there was still a whole lot more to do, and knowing after we've done all that we could and everything, it made me appreciate a show like this Extreme Makeover. Because a lot of times there are churches that are barely standing. There are churches that have broken every municipal code known to electricians, to plumbers, and all other type of contractors. But yet the people there are still excited. They're still praising and worshiping God, and just trusting that God will make some kind of way for them to be able to worship in a place that might be pleasing to the eyes of the people that they're trying to draw.
I really enjoyed the work they did with the pastor. And I thought that was different than being church consultants working directly with the pastor. All of the church administration classes that I've taken in seminary, you work with the congregation and you try to build a vision that they can all buy into to get them to move forward. But one of the things that they had noticed about the church was that it was too full. Yes. On the Sport of Sunday services, and so and the pastor kept them too long, and so they wanted to help him work on delivering a more concise and powerful sermon, and so they challenged him to just preach 5 minutes. We're going to give you a text, or you pick a text and you stick with that 5 minutes. And I love that they took him out of the context of his church. They took him like on a street and just had people come and listen. And it was interesting.
I wonder how many pastors today could just preach on the corner at whim. You know, without having all your research done, just okay, you got 5 minutes, just preach. And you have to just come up with the scripture text and preach for 5 minutes right there, you know. And I know a lot of us, our introduction is 5 minutes, let alone the whole sermon.
Yeah, so, but you do just what he did. You preach love. He went right to John 3:16 and preach love. That's real easy. God shows us that all the time.
And you know, I like when they show them actually in the worship experience, especially them being Caucasian males in an all African American Bible Belt church, and how the pastor would preach, and he preached, and next thing you know, they started looking at their watch, and 1 hour had gone by, 2 hours had gone by, 3 hours had gone by, 4 hours had gone by, and he was still going strong. He could have kept going. And again, I'm going back to my experience in a church in eastern rural Georgia, where we had an opportunity we had worship service at 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
We had worship service at 10 o'clock, and we decided we're going to go and visit one of our minister friends' church after our service is over, just to catch the tail end of the service. And we went by on this Sunday, and I remember it so clearly because it was a Super Bowl Sunday. It was a Super Bowl Sunday, and we got out of church, and we got to his church probably about 11:30, maybe 12.
No, we got there at 12:30.
We got there at his church at 12:30. And I know it was about 2:30 when he said that I'm going to let y'all go early today because I know it's Super Bowl Sunday and I want to keep y'all here all day. And they started at 11 o'clock. And it was 2:30. He said, I'm going to let y'all go early. And we were about ready to go then, and they were still going on. And
it's amazing, and I think it's what the congregation gets used to. And so the pastor of the church did attempt to go to 2 services. So he preached an early service and a second service to give the church time to get people in and get people out so everybody could be seated comfortably, because they really didn't change the physical structure of the church, so it was still the same size, and so they were trying to get everyone in comfortably, and he did that for a while, but they did, as they do the recap as the show is going off, say that he went back to the single service. But I'm sure that's we all have a certain structure for our sermons, how we prepare for them and how we deliver them, and that's a big change considering the age of the pastor and experience and the amount of years he's pastored. And I'm sure that every Sunday changing kind of everything that he does in preparation for that.
That's almost equivalent to someone coming in trying to make us traditional. We both have been in traditional churches, and our church is not a traditional congregation. And for someone to come in and make a recommendation that we be traditional to draw people, that might create some hesitancy in our congregation. But one thing they said...
At the very least, angst.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing they said, it was a phrase they used that really captured my attention. They said, we are not here to change the church, we just want to enhance their identity.
That's it.
And he said, we want them to know exactly who they are. And that's what happened with them. He sent them to the 2 worship services, he changed the sermon, and the pastor realized, that's not really who I am. And he went back, and I'm sure eventually through time he would listen to the ideas and incorporate some of the ideas, but you got to remember that my identity is, this is who we are right here. But I would really hate to end the conversation on this show without talking about how sharp that pastor was with his lime green suit on. He had a yellow suit outfit. He looked like a Starburst. He broke into a Starburst pack and just painted his suit different colors.
Yes, goodness. It was, You got to represent the Lord well.
And he represented well in all the colors.
Well, thanks to the modern miracles of DVR, we won't have to worry about missing it, even though Monday Night Football is on.
Yeah.
So again, that's Church Rescue, and it shows here on National Geographic, and in Eastern Time, it's Monday at 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And so while we're talking about football, so I'm guessing you didn't have any players on your fantasy team in the Monday night game.
I didn't.
Okay.
And again, Tampa Bay and Miami. If I want to have a good fantasy league football team, I have to make sure I get players from very offensive potent teams. So, hence, ergo, I didn't have anybody playing in the Monday night football game. But going into this segue, it's time for Doc's Pick Six.
Pick Six.
And last week, I had a couple of challenges. I won 4 out of the 6 games.
Okay.
One of the games that surprised me was the Jacksonville Jaguars won their first game, and I didn't pick that.
Oh, okay.
And another one was I did get a chance to have a game that I picked that was a surprise to me. And for the life of me, I don't even remember what game it was right now. So I won't comment on it too much. But I did win 4 games and I lost 2.
Okay.
But this week I have 6 teams I'm picking. And it starts off with the Green Bay Packers. I believe they'll beat the New York Giants. I do believe the Cincinnati Bengals will beat the Cleveland Browns. The San Diego Chargers will beat the Miami Dolphins. The Detroit Lions are a very strong and hot football team right now. I have them beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning their second game over the Arizona Cardinals. And finally, the San Francisco 49ers beating the New Orleans Saints. If you ever noticed, I hardly ever pick the New Orleans Saints to win. If I think they're going to win, I won't even put them in there at all. But I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers to beat the New Orleans Saints. And for all of us who are Atlanta Falcons fans, let's go for the lottery. You know, I love the Atlanta Falcons. I know we have some ups and downs and we can't win them all. But if we go have a bad season, let's go all out and let's get the first or second draft pick and get maybe Jadeveon Clowney, the linebacker from UCLA, great offensive lineman. Maybe that the guy who's the offensive lineman, I can't think of his name. His brother plays for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you know I can't help you.
Matthews lineman.
Oh, okay.
The offensive lineman that's Matthews. You know, you can't go wrong with the offensive lineman named Matthews because they finally put Hall of Famers in. They have great all pros as Matthews. So let's go for one of them. Let's go and tank the season.
He's Big Play Clay's brother?
He's Big Play Clay's brother, cousin or something like that. They're related.
Awesome.
But you can't go wrong picking up Matthews as an offensive lineman. So Falcons, I love y'all and I will support y'all, but let's go on and tank the season and go on and get some good offensive linemen and defensive linemen, other linebackers from UCLA.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to share with our YouTube viewers my thoughts on Atlanta Falcons fans. As you can see, they never give up. Now, this season is not what we thought it would be. And they just move right on to the draft. And then if they don't do well in the draft, they move right on to the next season.
Well, when I found the Lord and the Lord called me to be faithful, He called me to be faithful over a few.
All right.
And I'm faithful over the few wins that we had this year. And if I be faithful over these few victories that Atlanta Falcons will bring us, we will get more.
All right. All right.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for your pick 6 and your fantasy teams. Tell us about that.
The Fantasy League is the showdown this week, and I'm so excited. It's the battle of the giants. It's the clash of the titans. You have Powerhouse number 1 versus Powerhouse number 1 from the East and the West. And in between, there will be a clash, and I'm so excited. And, you know, I just have to say this. You know, I don't know what the outcome is going to be because the game is decided on the field. But one thing I can say, my team is going to play hard. They're going to give it 120% and they're going to leave it all on the field.
I'm going to ask all of our YouTube viewers to please pray for Peyton.
Oh yeah, pray for those ankles. You know, we already know he can't run, but you know, pray that he can just stay in the pocket long enough to find all those great receivers and tight ends and running backs he have on his team.
He could talk all night about football, so I'm going to say, Thank each of you for joining us. We appreciate all of your support, your comments, your subscriptions. We ask that you continue to follow us on the Good News YT on Twitter, Facebook, and G+. And we will continue to bring you the good news.
So until the next time.
Good day and good night.